Okay, a couple of the guys asked me, they know I garden, and how things actually grow in Vegas. So, I do this little video for you guys, and you can see. As I figure this out. Okay, this is one of my fig trees, and it's kind of loaded with figs right now. This is a green fig. And you can see the size these things get if I put my hand behind them. There's my hand. And this one is not quite right. Here's another one. And again, my hand is behind it. So this thing's just loaded with figs. And my wife loves them. Unfortunately, the birds do too. So I have to turn the backyard into a junkyard with pie pans and all kind of stuff to try to keep the birds out. And some more of these figs up here. Again, they get almost baseball size or tennis ball size, and that is a green type of a fig. Now, there's all different kind of varieties of figs. This is apricot tree that it's getting towards the end of the apricots. This thing was just loaded with apricots earlier. Still has a bunch again. Bunch of stuff in the trees. And hey, gotta have scarecrows. And what better place to have it from than Sherry's Ranch Brothel. We happened to be over there for a car show. And we dressed kind of warm that day, and it became quite hot. So I went inside and bought a couple t-shirts. Okay, apricots. Another scarecrow. Peach trees. There's 3 different peach trees in here. On this hole I dug. Took me about 3 weeks to dig this hole, and these peaches are getting kind of ripe. Okay, another peach tree. My wife said I turned this whole garden, or this whole backyard, into a jungle, which I did. Okay, another type of a fig. Again, this thing is tennis ball size. Now this particular fig tree has not really produced very well, and it has not gotten very big. Put this back on later. I have to put bags over them. It's got a few small figs on it. Okay, I also have white grapes. And there's one bunch, nowhere near ready. And a bunch of them. Okay. Fig. So, this is one of my larger fig trees. These trees were all put in at the same time. Let me get in here. This thing is just loaded with figs. And I'm trying to find some of the larger ones. Here's one here. It's covered up. Not quite big enough. Let me move on. I'll come back in from the other side. Okay, this particular hole that I dug, As I said, it took me about 3 weeks to dig it. So, I put 3 different varieties of peaches in here. And, as I said, another one is getting about ripe. Some more up in here. These trees are only a year old because I had a really good peach tree in here and I lost it because my sprinkler system went out. Everything's buried in the ground. And I thought the tree was just dormant. Turned out I was 100% wrong. It didn't get any water during the wintertime. And it died on me. Dumb mistake on my part. Won't happen again. So, again, I put stuff up in there, trying to keep the birds out. I'm trying to find a really large one here. That's just about ripe. And I know these are. Again, there's bags over top of them. As a matter of fact, that just fell off. So, this is one of the smaller ones. They're larger than that. And again, this thing's loaded. Now, plum tree. Like I said, I like to grow things. And it takes up some of the time. There's some other ones, some pretty good sized ones. When I'm not on the craps tables. And my neighbors love me. There is no way in the world, when this stuff comes ripe, that I can possibly eat it all. So, my neighbors get the benefit of it. And put tin foil over these things. Again, keep the birds out. And moving right along. You can see all the plums on this thing. Now, another plum tree. Totally different type. This is what you're buying in the store that they call dinosaur eggs or pluots. Mainly they're selling them as dinosaur eggs. This thing, I don't want to make it fall off. Let me see if I can find another one. Okay, they get the size of a small baseball. Okay, moving on. Pomegranates, which really grow well out here. Pomegranate tree, and they turn red. This thing is loaded with them. And I grow strawberries in buckets. And I also put tomatoes on top of them to kind of shade them. Speaking of tomatoes, I do grow tomatoes out here. There's one that's ripe. Unfortunately, some bug liked it more than me. Something got into it. I doubt if it was a bird, seeing how it was in there so deep. Okay, this is another peach tree. And again, this tree was just put in this year, and it has 4 different varieties of peaches on it, on a graft. Now, we have another fig tree. I like to grow these fig trees. They're very easy to grow. I give them away to friends. This tree's about a year old. I started it from just a cutting. And I did the same thing with these grapes. These are a wine grape. I'm not sure what kind it is, because I took some cuttings when they were pruning a bunch of wine grapes. And I started this grapevine from a cutting. Now we have cantaloupe. I also have an apple tree that has 3 different varieties of apples on it. It has a yellow. It has a red that gets ripened later on. Again, at the base of the tree, I put in tomatoes. And the reason I did that is because the tree actually shades the tomatoes. So, I'll have a bunch of tomatoes. Now, do the same thing with potted plants, and when I start them, I put them in pots. Another grapevine. And this is another pomegranate with grapes mixed in. This is a navel orange tree that I just picked up this year. So, another tomato. So, if you move to Vegas and you're into gardening, if you do your planning, and as I said, it takes about 3 weeks to dig a hole out here, because basically you're digging it with a crowbar, and you take out all this, I wouldn't even call it soil, and then put composted soil in. You can actually grow stuff out here. And if somebody knows a good way to get rid of birds, please post me back. Because I try everything, and it does not work. They still get in here. So, okay guys, that's it. So you can see a little bit of gardening. Have a good one.